Waste time, cradle to cradle. Time is a size that affects us all. It is one of those things that everybody intuitively knows the meaning of, and many have before attempted to define the time. But even though we all know it and are living in it, it's still a mystery. We have become the culture of control, and never before has time been so dictating our community. One thing we cannot control or manipulate is that time not lasts forever, and we all have an experience to date, at best before. In the Pacific Ocean close to Alaska, ocean garbage patches piles up. A few years back, 6 times as much plastic versus plankton was found. Recently the test was redone, and this time there was found 64 times as much plastic than plankton. All waste from the west coast of the United States. So if our plan is to contaminating the earth, we're doing it just perfect. But destroying nature has never been our plan. We have to become citizens to our planet Earth, and we can no longer have a laissez-faire attitude to life. Currently, we just put up restricted substances to find solutions for our own problems here and now. Constantly we are lagging behind, which causes that instead of being good, we are only being less bad. We need to think long-time perspective and remake the way we make things. It is too senseless just to correct our mistakes when the first are committed, and it's not enough just to breathe new life into old bones, so all becomes new again. In the future we need optimization, and the only way we can optimize is to interfere with the beginning of the orbit. The designers need to have an intention before they create a design. By asking what the project's intention is, you are able to develop a question that from the beginning can inform about design and stimulate the process in the innovation. As a designer, we promote a positive vision for the future, so that every time we create, we have to consider if the design can create a positive footprint on the earth. Designers need to have clear goals. But can there be a risk to use the cradle-to-cradle theory? To mark things with cradle-to-cradle logo can be a risk when it's become the end of creativity and innovation. It is not a certification with checklist and fixed value platform for innovation. It is a strategy made to bring the resources of the planet in orbit. It's all about making the economy of cradle-to-cradle into good business. It should be more efficient to make business by the use of the cradle-to-cradle theory, because in the end the world will only change if there is money in it. Almost every person on this planet loves consuming in one way or another. If we now, instead of destroying the environment and get less on our climate karma account, every time we buy something new, could do the opposite, it will result in an enrichment for the environment for every increase of consuming. So the manufacturer of products create a better climate and contributes positively to nature instead of negative every time it creates a new project. It calls, in particular, to turn the entire manufacturing process on its head. So instead of just reducing waste in the final project, we should look at how to make the environment better even before we start with the production of the product. If the final product is not always so natural and good for the environment, so it can actually contribute to the use and throw away culture, it just gets decomposed again and nitrogen compost. Hereby the consumers do not even have to sort the garbage, but can just throw it all out. Growth has become a highly negatively changed world when it comes to business, and maybe that is where we really need to take action and bring growth back to original meaning. Using growth as something good, something that gets healthier, stronger and better with each passing day, just like a child. The term plus products refers to a product that the consumers wants, but which also comes with a non-optional and undesirable side effect, for example chemical or heavy metals. But maybe we should turn that designation around, so a plus product instead means the desired product plus a positive side effect, like when you buy a tree that not only looks great in the garden, but also contributes with apples and producing oxygen. Can the ideology of cradle-to-cradle and architecture be combined? When building something already into production, we have to think about that the material has to have the feature to get disassembled when the building is not used any longer, so the raw material can be reused. The problem here is that most buildings consist of different materials from all over the world. Closing a material cycle here is quite difficult. Also, the fact that the return of materials to the factory when they come from will raise a problem of transport, infrastructure and pollution. As William McDonagh says, we have a material in the wrong place problem. In Cradle to Cradle, this can be avoided by sourcing material as local as possible. The use of local material and using both local energy and water could be a solution. A building should produce its own. Given an example for this strategy, Villa Vellepro by 2012 architects can be mentioned. By using the zero-use strategy, this project is an example on how to use raw materials as part of an endless cycle. In this first resident house completed that consists of demolished waste and reducible material completed. The construction of the house consists of almost entirely salvaged material sources within a 9-mile radius of the building site. The exterior is clad with border salvage from 600 cable reels. The construction consists of steel sections from a textile machine. Some smaller elements, such as coffee cups and umbrellas, are reused in the interior. This project is also a good example of another way of starting a project. Here's not the design first, but the heap of scrap material from the nearest surrounding.